Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in and for your attention. To be quite honest with you, I feel very nervous to be having this conversation with you. The reason being is this is a topic I keep quite to myself about. I'm not usually vulnerable around this topic of dating, of sex, of all of that good stuff. And I think it's just the way I've been raised. It's just something that's not really spoken too much about. We're going to talk about modern day dating and, my thoughts and views on it. And yeah, if you think about dating before we all merged onto colonized land and we were all, in our tribes, in our villages, wherever we're from around the world, you get to thinking about where we've all really come from and the communities that we were raised in. Within those communities, it was very simple when it came to relationships. The ultimate goal was to get married and to have a family and to raise the family together, united. And usually within those communities, it's not just the parents that are raising the child, it is the community, it is the village. Literally, that's where the saying comes from, is it takes a village to raise a child. There wasn't a whole lot of options for people to go and get to know other people. It was just within the village. And whether that was them picking their partners or it was an arrangement from the older generation, it was very much within that community. I know that my mum was telling me, my mum is from Greece. She's from a small village up north in Greece. She was telling me how, back in her parents' era, it's very rare to ever get out of the village. And there is a city called Katerini, probably half an hour to an hour out. I'm not too sure. It's not too far. She was telling me, like, now these days, it's very common. In fact, everyone's there. There's not really anyone living in the village anymore, apart from quite an older generation. But back then, it was very rare for anyone to travel to Katerini. It was just like, and if you did, it was once a year and no one would really meet. No one would really expand past where they were from. Technology is the most advanced it's ever been in this time. And we have access to literally everybody. If you think about it, social media has connected us in ways that just short of 30 to 40 years ago, the couple of generations before us would have blown their minds. And for us, it's just so embedded in everyday life. There are a lot of beautiful things about social media and our connection to the digital realm. And one being that we can literally communicate to anyone around the world within a few seconds, within a message away, for free. But then there's a side of social media that it is quite toxic. It does reward vanity. And when you're getting a lot of praise and attention from beings all over the globe for vain reasons, for how you look, it almost encourages beings to live in a way where they believe people owe them something. In all honesty, it really does encourage narcissism. It encourages a heavy focus on your appearance and being praised. And that is not to judge anybody. I have also been vain on social media. It's something I'm still working on, not falling into that mindset of doing it for external validation, but rather because it comes from something I want to express. It's almost like your ego versus your soul. Nevertheless, that isn't to judge anybody. It's just something to be conscious of. And with that, something that does heavily, heavily impact the dating world. Now, if we look at men, and this isn't just to say that this is purely a male thing, it definitely goes both ways, but I can only express from what I've observed For men, it's just an endless platter. It is so many options that they can choose from, that if there's something that they don't like in a woman, it's easily disposable. It's on to the next. And I find that dating apps really do emphasize that. It just feels like a time we're at where it's very surface level, lustful relationships that we are following, and people are disposable. And that takes me into the dating apps. I constantly get asked why I am not on dating apps. And I just want to start by saying this is not to shame anyone that has used dating apps. I have a lot of friends and family that have met their significant other through the apps, and it definitely can work for people. This is just my personal thoughts and experience. I personally don't resonate with the idea of judging someone based on a handful of photos and a few questions or prompts to then decide whether or not I want to talk to them and date them. That just doesn't work for me. I don't feel cold to talk to people on the app. I don't feel cold to meet people through the app for the pursuit of dating and finding a significant other. Again, I'm not judging anyone that does it. To be quite honest with you, I don't really have an urgency to have a partner, to have a significant other. And I hear it all the time, you know, women have a body clock. You can't just fluff around forever. And it's not that I am opposed to having a partner. I'm very much open to meeting someone. I just don't have that urgency to meet someone and start that whole chapter of marriage and kids. If there does happen to be someone that crosses paths with me that I am intrigued to get to know, and vice versa, I'm open to that. I'm not closed off to getting to know someone and seeing where that takes us, whether it's just simply a conversation, friend-based, or someone that I do want to go out and get to know even further. In terms of society's learned programming of the linear timeline of marriage and kids and ticking the box at this age and that age, it's just something I am not in resonance with, and I've made peace with that. For me, my take on relationships is it is a soul-based connection with another being. And I've been in one relationship in my life, and I've definitely dated before, but committing to someone is more than just a physical spending time and building a life together. It is a lot deeper than that. And I'm just simply not going to entertain a relationship if I don't feel mentally inspired or stimulated by someone, if energetically it just doesn't feel aligned with me. And I usually know this by the first encounter, by the first date, if not definitely by the second date. And that isn't to say that they're necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just where I am energetically, and I know where I'm at, and I know where I'm going. And when it's just completely in two different realms, I just know it's not going to be of benefits to either of us. And there's no point in exploring something that I know deep down is not going to work out. This brings me onto the topic of marriage and kids and where I am currently. And I've made peace with the understanding that God knows exactly what is for me. And if marriage is in the picture on my journey, if kids are in the picture in my journey, then it'll be. And I'm just comfortable in that knowing. If it's not, then I'm okay with that. I've accepted that. I've made peace with that. I really just don't want to be participating in anything that is fear-based. And for me, when you hear about a woman's body clock, I've had males in my life tell me that by a certain age, you're not going to be that desirable, which is which is insane to say. And if that is the case, that is not my partner. That is not the man that I am attracting, that is only attracted to younger women. It's with the whole body clock. That is very real, you know. There's a lot of things that we are exposed to. We need to take care of our health, and we need to be careful with what we are not only consuming, but we are taking in and listening to. And that being said, if I am constantly listening to people, listening to problems around having children and this and that, I'm just inviting more fear into my life. That'll cause me to react out of fear and not necessarily in alignment with my being, with my purpose. I'm not going to get into a relationship and marriage and have children out of fear. If it happens for me, amazing and wonderful, and I'm very open to it and excited for that. But if it doesn't happen, I'm also okay with that too. Let's talk about celibacy. Now, I have been celibate. I personally have been celibate for a moment now. I don't have a problem with being celibate. I really do encourage women to be celibate if they don't have a significant other. When you don't know the person, when you don't know what energy they are holding on to, what karma they are holding on to, you are essentially opening up your womb portal to their energy, and they can very much take from you, and you can also be taking on their energy. And when you invite lust into your energy field, it is a very dense, low vibrational energy. It really stems from a place of needing to fill a void, and that void cannot be ever filled unless you are fulfilling it yourself with your own love, with your connection with God, with Source. And the more that you invite that energy into your sacred space, the more that you are just siphoning down your energy. And look, it is very normal to be attracted to people. I come across people all the time where I'm just like, you're an attractive being. Like, your mind definitely wanders. And it's very human to crave intimacy with someone, to crave a partnership with someone. But there's a fine line between craving something and it being good for you versus feeling the desire, feeling it, but not acting on it straight away. I really don't crave being intimate with someone casually. It's important to know the person first, get to know their family, get to know the ways about them, how they think, what they think, before ever entertaining sex with them. Really, that is what sex is. You are combining your energies with someone. You are taking on their energy, their karma, their whatever they're stored in their body. The man that I attract next, we will only move into that stage when we are both ready and comfortable and feel like there is a deep trust with one another. And I'm willing to stick it out for however long that takes. But the problem is, in modern day dating, most men, unfortunately, they're out. They're not going to wait for you to open yourself up to them, or they will be sneaky about it and, you know, find someone to entertain them until you're ready. But if you are in tune with your intuition, with your psyche, you already know that that person is not, you don't need physical evidence. You can tell by their energy, by their presence, whether they are being loyal to you or not. That takes me back to what I was saying, is both man and woman have been programmed, heavily programmed through TV, through the music that we listen to, through everything around us, that being lustful by sleeping with people easily is just normal. It's part of relations, but it's not. Sex is a very sacred experience that should not just be passed around so easily. And the programming runs so deep that a lot of men of this time, of this era, are not going to wait around for someone to sleep with them. But, you know, I have hope that there are men on their spiritual journey and are very open to. So I don't want to just be focusing on that so much. You know, we are moving into a time of brand awakening, and a lot of people are awakening to higher consciousness and are a lot more open to celibacy, are open to really connecting on a soul level. Whew, I'm out of breath. To conclude, modern day dating, it's not what it used to be, and it doesn't need to be negative. We don't need to necessarily shine even more of a light on how dense it already is. What we can do is focus on our own values, focus on getting right with our own energy, with our own connection with source. And within that alone, you will attract the right person, people, friends, relationship, whatever. You will naturally attract the right people, because everything is energy at the end of the day. Everything holds energy. And if you are holding an energy that is full of lust, that is desperate, that is feeling like it's not enough and it's grasping on straws, you are going to attract people that hold that same dense vibration. And if you are in alignment with yourself, if you fill your own cup every day with love, with good intentions, and you are living in your truth, you are in your higher state, you will attract naturally the right partner into your life. I think where people just need to make peace is it's not always going to be on your time. It's going to be on God's time. And that's where I've learned to let go a lot of conditioning and programming, and to just relax and be open, but yet use my discernment to know what is right for me energetically, what is right for me and where I'm at, and what is not, and being okay with maybe that timing isn't now. Maybe something for you to work on is, if you are craving a companion, a partner, focus on, first of all, why you are craving this partner. Get to know where you are energetically, the energy that you might be putting out, and maybe just taking a step back from it for a moment and putting that energy not only into yourself, but to your friendships, to your community instead, and just building your relationships with them is a start first. Maybe that is where you need to put your focus. And then with that, you will naturally be attracting a partner into your life. Let me know if this resonates with you as well. Be sure to find me on my socials in the description I've got below. And I will be with you in the next video, but I am sending you so much love, peace, and calming energy into your way. So